All right, thanks guys for bringing us those conference previews. We'll keep a close eye on those, how the power rankings affect teams moving up and down in their conferences once the season gets underway. Now we're going to move into the segment that I've been the most excited about coming into today. Way too early season predictions for end-of-season awards. So let's go ahead and get started with our preseason picks for the MVP this year. Do you want to go ahead and get started?
All right, it's going to be John Wall. No, it's not. I wish it'd be John Wall, as I'm a
both Northern Virginia guys,
yeah,
both
so
Washington guys.
Pretty much. It'd be great if he was, because that would mean we did something. But I'm going to say LeBron. I don't know who you got. I should have probably organized this a little better. But I'm going to say LeBron because this is the year LeBron's really going to step up. He's been phenomenal the last 3 or 4 years, but still hasn't gotten the MVP because of performances from Russell Westbrook or all these other guys that massively stepped up. But now those guys have super teams of their own. I really think this is the year LeBron goes back to averaging about 30 points a game and maybe even a triple-double all season. Probably not, but definitely a double-double, I would say. So I think it's going to be LeBron. What about you?
I like that. I like actually that we didn't talk about this beforehand because I also said LeBron. I didn't know who you were going to say, but I agree with your assessment of why LeBron is going to win. I think everyone else who in the last 4, 5, 6 years has been mentioned as a contender to his throne, their team is too clumped up. They've got too many stars on it with these super teams. The other name that was going through my head was Kawhi, but I'm just not sure. I don't have enough confidence in the rest of the Spurs roster that they can even look decent like a top 4 Western Conference team when it's crazy to say because they've been top 2 in the West for the last, 10 years. Kawhi saw dips in his field goal percentage, in his block totals, his rebound totals, and his three-point percentage last year. I'm just not sure about him. So why don't we move on to Rookie of the Year?
Rookie of the Year. Ooh. A lot of the popular pick is going to be Lonzo Ball, and I think that there's a very good chance it's going to be Lonzo Ball. But I would have to say, I don't think it's going to be Fultz either. I don't know. Not Jason Tatum. I guess I'll go with Lonzo Ball because I mean, he's the only guy with the team that needs to have a huge impact because Markelle Fultz is on a team that has a lot of good young stars. He can be a good distributor. I think it's going to be between Fultz and Ball. Jason Tatum's just not there for me, and hopefully, you never know. We could be wrong, and it could be someone. I don't even know who you pick, but it could be someone who comes out of left field, like Sindarius Thornwell. Maybe that'd be fantastic. Probably not going to happen. But I'm going to have to say Lonzo Ball because they're really going to need him to step up on that roster because it's pretty much him, Brandon Ingram, Julius Randle, and Jordan Clarkson still, I think. So, I mean, they need him to step up, and it's going to be tough, but I think he's going to have the stats to win the award.
I think you're right, and you took my pick again.
I'm sorry.
That's all right. So I'm going to go with my second choice. They dealt away D'Angelo Russell, D'Lo, to the Nets. They got Brook Lopez. So they've built a cast around him that won't demand the touches, demand the ball. They also signed Kentavious Caldwell Pope for $17 million one-year deal. So they've got a good supporting cast. I think he's got a lot of options. From every report that I've seen, he's been doing really well in training camp, which of course started this past Tuesday. I think we could be primed for a big season from him, but I'm going to go with the second name on my list, Dennis Smith Jr. out of NC State. Rick Carlisle with the Mavericks, I think, is such an underrated coach, and he's performed every year. This is the best player this season we're going to see from DSJ is going to be the best season by a Maverick since probably 2011 with Dirk.
I was shocked he dropped to the Mavericks. When the Mavericks scooped him up, I was like, oh my gosh, that's great. Another player that could step up, another rookie, I think, is Malik Monk, who dropped all the way to 11 with the Hornets. I think it was 11. And I mean, I think Malik Monk is the best shooter in the draft. It's whether or not his other intangibles step up. And I'm also really mad at the Kings because the Kings could have signed him and De'Aaron Fox, and that would have just been fun to watch, but they signed Jason Collins, I think it was, instead, and then traded him or something. But like, I think it's between Lonzo Ball and Malik Monk, and I just don't even. It's tough because we could be wrong. I mean, last year Malcolm Brogdon won it last year. No one thought that was going to happen.
Wahoo! Right, it was John Collins. The
John Collins, not Jason.
Right.
Jason's the one with the he was on the Celtics. Yeah,
he was. Yes. Okay, so now let's move into Coach of the Year predictions. I'm going to go first with this one, even though I know you weren't going to take my pick because it's a little out of left field. Tom Thibodeau with the Timberwolves. I think he's a great defensive coach. I think he's probably one of the best, maybe top 3 defensive minds in our year. He's had multiple seasons finishing top 3 in Coach of the Year runnings, and I really think that he's going to have the most effect, the biggest effect on his roster and propel them, even in the stacked West, to a top 6 in the Western Conference finish. I think they could have the chance to make a playoff run with the grit that we've seen from their star players, Wiggins, Towns, and Butler.
Ooh. Well, he actually did steal my first guess just because I think.
You're kidding.
No, yeah, I'm not. But so
Too good.
second, I'm gonna go with Scott Brooks. I really think he could have won it last year, so I'm gonna go with Scott Brooks this year. I think the Wizards will be either the 2 or 3 seed this year. They'll compete with the Celtics. I don't know. They aren't on the Cavaliers level, but they will play a lot better than last year. So I'm going to go with Scott Brooks. But Tom Thibodeau, I really think he's going to step it up. He's been a favorite coach of mine ever since he was on the Bulls, and that exit didn't go so well. But I think he's building something great in Minnesota. It might not be fantastic this year. There's going to be a little bit of growing pains, but I just think that defense is going to be phenomenal this year. So yeah, and then so lastly though, or not lastly, who do you think is going to make the finals this year?
I hate to say it. I really do. But I think it's going to be part 4 of the Dubs and the Cavs.
Oh, my gosh.
I went back and forth a lot on this, and I can't see in my head a scenario where the Cavs don't come out of the East and the Warriors get beaten in the West. I really don't. I think they've got too much firepower. They showed that they're still hungry and not letting the field catch up to them, but they're still making moves. They went up and grabbed Nick Young out of free agency, who I like.
Former Washington Wizard.
In the draft, their only pick was Jordan Bell, his 38th pick. In the rookies collectively as a class, they do an assessment of their whole rookie class. His peers, his classmates, ranked him the 2nd best defensive player in the draft and the 4th biggest steal in the draft. So that was an incredible pick by them at pick number 38. They also got Chris Boucher out of Oregon, so they got the Oregon pair of defensive studs. He averaged over 3 blocks a game this season. I really just don't think they're going to be beaten.
I really think it's going to be the Cavs and Warriors, like you said, part 4. I mean, we're going with a very easy pick here. It's not that hard. But for me, it's just these teams haven't done enough, and that's crazy to think about when you look at the list of teams we went down earlier, because they did a lot this offseason. But those 2 rosters are just stacked. Now, here's where we might finally disagree, I hope. So out of that matchup, who do you think is going to win? Because I have the Cavs. I don't know about you.
I've got the Warriors.
Ooh, we finally disagree. I think the Cavs did enough to catch up, and I really think LeBron's not going to lose to them 3 times in a row. If he does, he might be gone. So sorry, Cleveland. But him and D-Wade will be gone playing for LA. That'd be crazy. But I think the Cavs are going to win.
I do think they did a lot to catch up. They made a lot of moves, which I liked. I liked Kobe Altman. I thought he did a really good job this offseason, having been pushed into the role with very little experience. I think he did well, but I think what it comes down to is that we know what the stars of the Cavs are going to get. We know what LeBron's going to give you. We've seen what Isaiah Thomas will do. We've seen what Kevin Love will do, and even Dwayne Wade. We know roughly what he can do.
And even Dwayne Wade, saying it like he's an after fact at this thing. That's crazy.
It's crazy. You're right. But on the other side, we know what the Splash Brothers, Steph Clay and KD can do, Draymond. I think what it comes down to is the X Factor guys on the bench. It's JaVale McGee. It's Nick Young, even now with the Warriors.
The fact that JaVale McGee, both ex-Washington Wizards, but the fact that JaVale McGee is not their starting center is ridiculous in my opinion. I mean, I understand that they want life from the bench, but he should definitely be their starting center.
Right. I have always thought Zaza Pachulia was overvalued. Ridiculous that he was an all-star player 2 years ago. But I really do think the Warriors are going to win that one. Yeah. Let's do this to make it a little more interesting. If there's a team that comes out of the West that's not going to be the Warriors that makes it, who's it going to be?
Oh my gosh, that's tough. I'm going to go with, let's say, Houston. If Steph gets hurt and KD breaks his leg, it's going to be Houston. I think Houston's that next team. I could be wrong. I really want to say the Timberwolves, but I think they need a little bit more on their bench. I think it's going to be Houston. What about you?
I want to say the Timberwolves as well. They got Jeff Teague. They look good. They've got young guys. They've got vets. But I'm going to go with OKC, if not Golden State. I really think, for one, think about playing in 2K with this new big 3.
I can't wait.
Carmelo, Russ, and Paul George. Last season in the NBA, Russ Westbrook had the second highest isolation points per game. Carmelo was 4th. Paul George was 9th. It's going to be crazy watching that 3-headed monster go to work.
Pretty much, it's like, all right, who wants the ball this one? And everybody else can just stand aside and see what happens.
Exactly. It's going to be fun.
Yeah, it's going to be fun to watch. It'd be fun on 2K. I mean, shout out to D'Angelo Stevenson. I will probably be beating you with that team very shortly. But
he's not here to defend himself.
I know, so it's great. But yeah, that kind of wraps things up for us. We'll be doing this hopefully every week. I can't wait for the NBA season. What about you?
Oh, God, I'm so excited. The preseason starts next week. We've got the regular season tip-off 2 weeks after that. Get excited. We hope to see you back here next week. For Ben Parsons and myself, Carter Furr, thanks so much for tuning in.